What's happening, guys? Back with another reverse diet update. This is for weeks 13 and 14. I didn't do one last week because excuses. But anyway, wanted to go over things pretty cut and dry here. So things are getting pretty predictable at this point. So you'll probably see, and if you've been following along closely, you'll probably be able to predict yourself as well as I go through it. But if we look at week 13, I actually predicted at the end of week 12 that I thought I would probably come down in weight a little bit. I suspect, honestly, this is going to come back down again and we'll start moving forward with the reverse again after next week, which it actually did happen. You know, the next few days, weight came down to the 170s again. And then I ended up going to Miami with my buddy Steven, and we were there for NPC Nationals. And even though I actually did a pretty dang good job while I was there, I thought, you know, I actually controlled my calories, controlled my protein, and continued to track. You know, certainly there was alcohol involved and there was interchanging of carbs and fats, and it wasn't my normal food sources, but I still did pretty good. But I came back up a little bit in weight. You know, nothing to be concerned about. Figured with travel that happens quite frequently. Digestion gets a little bit off. It'll probably come back down again anyway. Anyway, I checked in with Paul at the end of that, and he agreed that it was probably going to come back down. He thought I actually looked leaner than I did the week before, which is obviously pretty exciting. And then he went ahead and increased my calories by another 10 carbs, so another 40 calories. So we did that. The next week, it was just an off week for me. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. And I don't know what is going on with my body, but I was having a lot of digestion issues, a lot of injury concerns. I've been having problems with my shoulder. I kind of strained my adductor a little bit, you know, twisted my ankle a little bit. I was just kind of a hot mess all of last week, but I'm feeling quite a bit better now already. I'm not so sure about this shoulder thing. I'm probably gonna have to go in and get it checked out. It just continues to bother me. And I've gone through a lot of different things. I've seen chiros, I've seen massage therapists, and I've gotten all kinds of soft tissue work done and Graston and all this types of stuff. Just not quite getting better, so want to make sure I take care of that. But anyway, my weight did come up about a pound from the previous week. So with that, we're just going to go ahead and hold steady this week and see how things go. You know, it was a very strange week for weigh-ins for me. Normally, I'm really consistent with my weight. It usually stays about the same, give or take just a little bit, and I stay in a bit of a groove, but there was just lots of ups and downs last week, as you can see, and I think that was mostly digestion related. I think I have that kind of cleared up now. As I shoot this video a couple days after the check-in, my weight's already starting to come back down again a little bit, so that's a good sign. But regardless, we're just going to hold steady here and see how things play out, and hopefully as digestion normalizes that things will kind of steady. And that's usually what most weight fluctuations are. It's often very much digestion related. Hormonal, digestion, and water are the big things. Notice how I didn't say body fat. So anyway, the other thing I want to talk about is one thing that I found interesting is my hunger has returned. And like with a vengeance. All right, these last 2 weeks I've been crazy hungry, and that had gone away for, I don't even know, at least a month, probably almost 2 months. I just hadn't been that hungry, and now lately I've just been really hungry. So I suspect that means metabolism is improving. I talked to Paul about it. He said, yeah, it's probably metabolism speeding up. And then also we got to keep in mind, I am still, even though I'm up from the end of my cut, I am still leaner than I ever was in my entire life prior to that cut. And my body fat set point was, you know, somewhere in the 180s. That was kind of where my body liked to stay. I'm still in the low 170s right now. So my weight had been really stable at a certain weight for a very long time. I'm now leaner than that. My body is going to fight me to try to get me back to where it wants to be, that body fat set point. So with me being leaner, it's still trying to get me to gain that weight back. And that's something that we always have to keep in mind, especially at the end of a cut, especially if you're not going through a building phase like I am right now, where we're kind of intentionally increasing weight a little bit, and you're trying to maintain a lower body fat. Your body's going to fight you, and you have to ignore some of those signals and understand that hunger and appetite and moodiness and being cranky and fatigue and things like this, it's all part of the process, and it's all your body speaking to you, trying to get you to gain that weight back. It wants to go back to the normal. It's going to challenge you to get you there. So in a reverse diet, it's important to ignore some of those feelings, and it can be really difficult because in that position, especially if you're just trying to maintain your weight, you don't really have that goal. You don't have that carrot in front of you that you're chasing. Whereas in like a fat loss phase, it's like, okay, I've got this goal. I'm trying to lose weight. I had that thing that I'm looking forward to, that I'm trying to get to. And then when you stop that and you go into reverse, and your goal now just becomes, well, I just don't want to gain the weight back. It's not something that motivates people pretty hardcore, right? Like, it's just, okay, like, it can be easy to kind of slip up and let it go and go, pretty hungry, I'll just go ahead and eat. It doesn't really matter anyways. Now I'm just in a reverse. It's not a big deal. Well, that's how things can backslide pretty fast. Remember, I can't repeat this enough. Your body is going to try to get you back to where you were before you started dieting. It's going to do everything that it can to get you to do that. So you can keep that from happening by staying leaner for a longer period of time. It's just a difficult thing to do because, like I'm experiencing right now, I'm really hungry. Like I'm not going to overeat because I don't want to gain any more weight than I necessarily need to do in order to go through this building phase, and I want to keep myself in a good position for my show next year. So when we start our show prep, I'm in a good spot. But I've got that goal. I've got that thing that's still driving me, right? Without that, that can be tough. So that's when it's good to look at performance-based goals and some other goals besides just your actual weight. But we still want to pay attention to things. And you just have to understand, like I just kind of said, the longer you stay leaner, the easier it's going to become, and the more your body is going to start settling into this kind of new body fat set point and say, okay, this is the new normal. But it takes time. It takes a lot of time, especially if you've been a certain weight for years. If you've been a certain weight for the last 15 years and now you're significantly less than that, your body's like, what the hell is this? I want to get back to the normal. I want to get back to that previous spot. And it's going to try to get you to do that. And that's what some of the signaling is. And you just have to remember that and try to not get all up in your feels, because it can be difficult to do sometimes, but it's really important to be as diligent as you can during this process and fight those feelings and understand that it's not you that's weak. It's literally your body trying to get you there and fighting against you. So it's a mental battle for sure. But anyway, that's my reverse diet update. Hopefully the hunger will subside a little bit here as I get used to being still relatively lean, and we'll see how things go, but I will keep you posted. The other thing that I'm excited about, I have a new client that I picked up recently, Vivian, who she has agreed to document her reverse diet process too. So I will be doing that as well. Maybe I'll kind of switch away from myself to her, or maybe I'll do both. Tell me what you guys want to hear or want to see. But I thought it would be good to get a different perspective, someone who is not a bodybuilder, someone who is not coming from being almost stage lean and trying to put on a bunch of muscle, someone who's going through a more normal reverse diet process. So we're gonna update every week. We're gonna go over macros. We're gonna go over pictures and measurements and weight changes and talk about why we're doing things the way we're doing. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully you are as well. So that's all I've got. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you Monday.
I'm addicted to the love that you're giving. Every minute, every day I've been craving.